Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather to honor these educators. Please bless these men and women who have chosen to serve our children, to sacrifice, to guide, to instruct, and to nurture. To follow your word when you said, train up a child in the way he should go, so even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Be with them as they shape and mold these children's future with the hope they will grow and spread your blessings. We entrust in each of these dedicated people our most prized possession and rejoice that those who have been nominated have followed your instruction when you said, let the children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Battling the weather. We were talking backstage, and while it's a shame about this weather, you guys are unsung heroes, so why make it easy on you for an event like this? We do thank you guys all for coming.
If you can battle a school or a classroom full of 8-year-olds, hats off to you.
So do you have a teacher? Do you have a favorite teacher?
Oh, I have several favorite teachers. Many of them I came from. My grandfather was an assistant superintendent. My mom just retired from education after being in for about 45 years. My aunt just retired. She was a teacher and then a counselor. My nanny just retired. She was a teacher and then a librarian. My grandmother worked in education with hearing impaired. And you know, for a brief moment, I thought I could be in education.
And?
Worst 2 hours of my life.
I enjoy emceeing this event, which I have for a number of years. It's a great way to honor my mom's legacy. Some of you do remember my mom. She may have taught you. She was at Turlings for 7 years, and Martinville for 2, Lafayette for 20, then UL for another 5. Mom had an incredible memory for her students, and you guys think you don't make a difference. In the last week, I've had 4 people come up to me and say, your mom taught. And it means a lot to know that she touched lives. And she had a great memory right up until when she passed. If you ask Mom about students, she could tell you where they sat, who they did. Oh yeah, I remember Billy Rux, he was there. Clay Allen did this. Of course, Clay was her favorite forever. Ask Billy that. I once told Billy, I said, Mom remembers you. She loved me. He goes, no, it must have been Clay. But one time I'm emceeing an event with the Boys and Girls Club, and I believe there was an open bar at some point. They haven't done that in quite a while. And a woman came up to me and she slurred a few words. I may need you to beat me in just a second. But she said, are you Gene Raz, the teacher's son? And I put my chest out, and I'm sure they're going to say something great about my mom. And I said, why, yes, I am. And the woman said, that was the meanest beep I've ever met. So I forget the woman's name, but I walked in the hallway at the convention center, and I called Mom, and I said, Mom, do you remember a married white class of 86 at Lafayette High? And she says, yeah, I remember Mary. She sat in the back of her class, she was a cheerleader, she dated such and such. And then she paused and she says, it seems to me that Mary didn't do very well in my class. It took me about 2 weeks to tell them what the woman actually said about her. And she said, well, that would go in line with the fact that she didn't do very well in my class.
It's amazing how you teachers can oftentimes be very gratuitous. My mom always was. She always was. It's very odd, Scott, how teachers always have a very different viewpoint of the students than a lot of times the students have. of the teachers when they're naughty, the students, that is.
All matter of perspective.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I learned a lot from the teachers that left a mark with me. And hats off to all of the wonderful teachers that we're going to meet here tonight. You certainly deserve so much more than words are able to describe. Would the following event organizers please stand and remain standing? Please hold your applause until all have been called. The LEF Board of Directors and staff are here with us this evening. There they are.
And a few of them are back here.
They certainly are. The LEF Teacher Awards Selection and Planning Committees. We also gratefully acknowledge and thank this evening's presenting Gold Media sponsors. Please stand when your name is called and hold your applause, please. The Daily Advertiser, KTCTV3, Acadian Companies, Capital One Bank, Cox, Entergy, Giles Automotive, Right Angle Advertising, and Skylark Services.
Now, each year, the LEF Teacher Awards season kicks off with the traditional LEF Pin Patrol. Approximately 80 volunteers from various community businesses join the Lafayette Education Foundation and event sponsors in recognizing all of the Teacher Awards nominees. Commemorative pins and award ribbons were presented to all 663 nominees on a surprise visit to 66 schools, all in one morning, kind of like an educational Santa Claus. So if you would, please join me in recognizing this year's Pin Patrol and award sponsor, Van Eaton and Romero Realtors.
And Scott, I was part of that, and it was so much fun. Congratulations to all of the teachers who were pinned this year, and thank you, Van Eaton. This evening, special entertainment has been prepared for your enjoyment. Please join me in welcoming, and they are having fun back there, I just want you to know, the L.J. Alamos Choir under the direction of Victoria Qualls Landry, the 2014 Middle School Top Finalist.
Jackson loves the fourth graders and so does Miss Dowd. Miss Kidder and Miss Callum stand out in the crowd. They teach young eyes to see through their years in elementary. While the Bruce our Mrs. Arts to know coaches young voices. Coach cheerful leads the football team and helps with life choices. But they are to you. They guide them to life's truth. And math, it can be fun with Miss Lakota. Your grammar can't go wrong with Miss Shasta.
Scott, we have to follow that?
Now let's bring him back on, and congratulations to you all. We'll see you later.
The LJ Alamo Choir. They have been under the direction of Victoria Qualls Landry for 8 years. How amazing!
You kind of get the feeling that Victoria knows what she's doing.
Just a little. During this time, LJA choirs have consistently earned superior ratings at district, state, and national music performance assessments and festivals. LJA choirs have performed with the Acadiana Symphony Orchestra on multiple occasions, as well as with the Lafayette Concert Band. LJA choir members have regularly been selected for the Lafayette Parish Honor Choir and the Louisiana All-State Honor Choirs. And speaking of talented, we hope you enjoyed the lobby music provided by LPSS Talented Music Program students under the direction of Timothy Gafka.
Now, speaking of great things, it's my understanding that LEF's signature fundraiser, the Reprom, is a great event not to be missed. Reprom's a prom for adults. It gives you a chance to maybe go back in time and say the things you wish you'd said, or attempt to take back the things and stuff that you did that you wish you hadn't.
And thank God that we all live before the internet, or at least some of us.
Or else it would follow you forever. Well, it gives everyone the opportunity to relive or recreate the rites of passage, the prom experience. Now, we actually have some royalty in attendance this evening. We have the 2014 Reprom King, Mr. Gifford Briggs of Louisiana Oil and Gas Association, plus some members of the 2015 court. Would all you guys please stand? I see your great badges, the Western motif. You're wearing it well, and we look forward to this year's event. Now, we want you to know that the Reprom has become one of the most talked about events here in Acadiana. The event does indeed put the fun in fundraiser, in addition to help LEF put this wonderful award ceremony on each year.
Now, LEF is proud to partner with educators in its mission to promote excellence in education. Please join me in recognizing individuals of the public and private school systems in attendance this evening. They are Anna LaRiviere, Superintendent of the Diocese of Lafayette; Dr. Bernell Lejeune, the Interim Superintendent of Lafayette Parish School System; principals from all public, private, and parochial schools. If you're a principal, please stand up. And lastly, we would like to recognize all school board members from all public, private, and parochial schools.
Now, once again, Anna, I had a meeting with two of your principals yesterday, and they were late because they were visiting with Anna. So, telling good stories, I'm sure. Now, a brief explanation about what's happening here tonight. Meeting the challenges of today's classroom takes educators who can reach out to the child, to the whole child, and inspire them to be all that they can be. This evening, we honor the amazing educators who are responsible for molding and for shaping the future leaders of Acadiana. LEF's nominees must be active educators teaching in the Lafayette Parish public, parochial, or private schools, grades pre-K through 12. More than 1,600 nomination letters came. 1,600, folks. It's amazing. They were received from the community comprised of students, parents, colleagues, friends, and former students. These nominations recommended 663 teachers. If you would all of the 2015 LEF nominees please stand up to be recognized?
Congratulations to all of you. And adding to tonight's excitement, we have a few drawings for which all nominees in attendance are eligible. Not only is Giles Automotive a gold sponsor, they've also contributed an iPad mini for our first drawing tonight.
So with that, here to pull the winning name, Stephen Benitez with Giles Automotive. Stephen?
Good evening. It's great to be here tonight, and I'm excited to give away this iPad to a lucky teacher, so I'm ready to pull a name. Where are they at?
I believe that is it, sir.
Perfect.
Please, none of that.
Leah Corbell. Is she here? I don't think so. You see her?
Leah Corbell, Corbell, is she here?
If she's in the bathroom, text her. All right.
She's not here?
So
Must
anyone
be
that
present
knows
to
Leah, tell her tomorrow what could have
Tell her
happened
she
tonight.
missed an iPad mini. Womp, hashtag womp womp.
All right, here we go. Francesca Hasbits.
Habits. Francesca Habits.
Habits?
Or Franziska Habits.
Yeah.
Is that her, Karen?
Yes, she is.
Hot diggity dog. It pays to brave the elements. You go, girl. Oh, are you Cindy's daughter? Yeah, hi. Her mom's a principal now. At least second generation educator right there. Tell your mama I said hi.
Now, those of you that came last year might recall one of our prizes, we went through about 10 people. This time we got it on the second try. So far, so good.
That makes me feel good. Yeah. Through the generosity of Travel Machine and Lafayette Schools Federal Credit Union, all nominated teachers who are present this evening, I know you guys have been waiting for this one, are eligible to win a cruise for two. And if you need a buddy, I'm available. I just thought I'd throw that in,
That
Scotty.
is a pretty good pitch. I like that. Here to pull the winning name, Kermit Duyon from Travel Machine and Connie Roy from the Lafayette Schools Federal Credit Union.
Thank you, Tracy and Scott. We're truly, so very grateful to be here tonight and to help to sponsor this great event. Thank you, LEF, for bringing all of us together. And thank you, educators of Lafayette Parish. You give your hard work, your giving spirit, your dedication to our schools and to our students, and we thank you. Tonight, I'm honored to bestow upon you, one of the nominated teachers, a very special prize, and we're going to go ahead and let Kermit tell us exactly what that is.
The winner and a guest, hopefully she's here tonight, and she or he has to be here tonight.
That's correct.
Will get a 7-night Caribbean cruise vacation. That means all your meals, all your entertainment. It's just have a wonderful time, and it's us saying thank you to the teachers. Once a year, we like to do this special thing for you. We're so honored to be involved in this. Thank you.
Okay, let's hope they're here.
You must be present to win. Allison Romero. Is she here? Oh, no.
All prizes revert to the masters of ceremony.
Katie Nicholson. She's beating her program on the top. No, that means she's not here.
That means she's not here too.
All right.
She's beating the program
on the back of the chair.
There we go.
Keisha Sykes. Come on down, Keisha. Come on.
Keisha, congratulations.
Thank you. Bring a girlfriend.
Teach and just say a little bit something.
Hi, y'all. I'm Keisha Sykes. I am the head girls basketball coach at Karen Crowe High. I teach health and physical education. I just teach your girls how to stay healthy. And I'm so excited. And my husband hates water.
Oh, well. Oh, my God. I'll go with you.
Thank you.
Take that with you. I'll wait to hear from you.
And no, you can't go.
Oh, man, I'm trying, Scott. I'm
Only a
trying.
male can substitute for a male, so. Keisha, I'll pick you up at 6.
Congratulations, that was awesome. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. I think everybody's waiting for that one, too. There are 4 award categories for tonight's big event: elementary school, middle school, high school, and inspirational. In each category, we will recognize the 4 finalists individually, asking each to come on stage.
Here to present the elementary school awards are Kristen Askelson, the news director and strategist for the Daily Advertiser, and Mr. Alton Trahan, public information officer with the Lafayette Fire Department. He is also an LEF board member. Guys?
Good evening, everyone. You may have noticed that we write a little bit about education at the Daily Advertiser. Often it's about the challenges facing education and facing educators. So I'm particularly thrilled to be here at this great event tonight representing the Advertiser and recognizing these amazing teachers and the difference that an amazing teacher can make in the life of a child.
Myself, good evening, everyone. Alton Trahan again. It's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight, not only as an LEF board member, but as a fellow public servant. We in the fire service have the utmost respect and appreciation to the educators of our community. The service you all provide to our community, especially to our most valuable assets, the children, is just invaluable. So you're so deserving of this special night, and on behalf of Fire Chief Robert Benoit, we congratulate you for everything you have achieved.
And now what you've been waiting for. Our first elementary school finalist, Cynthia Chaston Callan.
I have been teaching for 21 years now. I began as a 3rd grade teacher at St. Antoine. We have several teachers in my family. And I think my mother instilled in me, the grace and compassion and generosity. That's what encouraged me to pass this along to my son, along with other students here in Lafayette Parish. Watching one of my students or all of my students succeed and understand that they can become anything that they choose to become, that the world is out there for their taking. Just go for it. Challenging as far as where the children are coming from, their home life that they have today. They have more things that they have to deal with. So coming into school, we're not just looking at their education. We're looking at their overall well-being. And again, that's why I really appreciate our health and wellness division that we started a few years ago with Lafayette Parish School System. Lean on your friends, other teachers. They're all here. We're all in the same boat. We're all going to help each other. Do the best that you can, and it will work out.
Ms. Callan teaches special education, 1st through 5th grades at Charles Burke Elementary to students with behavioral issues. It's been said of Ms. Callan that she teaches as she lives, straightforward, no holds barred, and always honest. A nominee says she always puts a positive spin on things. Before school begins, she tells students and parents what is expected. An understanding is reached and phone numbers exchanged. She is known to teach in stages. The first is the honeymoon, where behavior is age appropriate. Second is Fantasyland, where students test to see how far they can push their limits. She does not give in or give up, but persists to the third stage, the real world, Callan's kingdom, where consequences are real and applicable to the offense, but academics is always the priority. She teaches that first impressions are important, and some days require a new first impression. She forgives and teaches forgiveness. Extreme behaviors begin to dissipate. Good manners take shape, and academics improve. Parents are giving something they have not seen in years. Their child, a true child, not a behavior problem, not a threat, and not another meeting, but the child that they had lost track of at school because of the behaviors, threats, and meetings. School becomes a good and hopeful place. One of her students is quoted as saying, "She taught me how to make friends and how to be a good friend. She never gave up on me and made sure she would always be there for me. Now I'm on the principal's list, and my behavior is much better. I know Miss Callan will always love me and be there for me. That is why I love her too." Cynthia Chaston Callan.
And our second finalist is Erin Dowd.
I've been teaching 28 years. My family kind of is, education seems to be our profession. My mother's an educator, I have sisters that are educators, aunts, uncles. So it seems to be the family profession, and they all inspired me to become one too. Interacting with the kids every day, watching that little light bulb go off when a kid's been struggling with something, and all of a sudden they get it, and that expression on their face is priceless. Keeping the kids involved in a non-technical world because they're so inundated at home with all of their little games and stuff. So sometimes when we're doing things the old-fashioned way, they tend to lose interest a little bit more. It's the greatest job you'll ever have, and to find a mentor that will help you, not to try to do it alone because you'll drive yourself crazy, but to get a good support team around you, and you'll never regret going into education.
Ms. Erin Dowd teaches 4th grade at Green Tea Linden Elementary. Facing adversity is part of Ms. Dowd's life as she experienced the loss of all her belongings in Hurricane Katrina, saw her close-knit family relocate to other areas, and a few years later lost her much-beloved father. As said by one nominator, those obstacles never affect her deep love for teaching. She wanted to make a difference in children's lives, as she has done just that over and over again at Green Tea Linden. Compassion for her students ranks high in her teaching philosophy. One nominator told the story of Mrs. Dowd supplying food and clothing to a student's family whose father was unemployed and their shelter was his truck. Because of her experience during Hurricane Katrina, she understood being homeless. A colleague said, believing that every child can learn, along with her hands-on approach and use of technology in her classroom, sets her apart from others in her profession. One parent says, she embraces each child, accepts them, and celebrates their differences, and in return, they do the same for her. Our children become her children, and when they leave her class, they are well prepared for middle school in all ways. As was said by one student, even if she does not win Teacher of the Year, she will always be the #1 student in my heart. According to one nominator, Ms. Dowd is known to change ordinary children into extraordinary students. Erin Dowd.
The next finalist, Kimberly Kidder.
I am in my 9th year here at J. Wallace James. I had a year previous to this, so 10 years in education. My favorite teacher was Miss Lisa Ribble. She was my 5th grade teacher at St. John Elementary. She was just the coolest teacher, and of course I wanted to be like her. But in terms of becoming a speech therapist, Miss Paula McCann has been instrumental in me pursuing my career as a speech pathologist. The most rewarding thing about being a speech pathologist is seeing the progress that my students make. When I first receive a student and they have so many difficulties, watching the progress that they make and seeing the excitement they get when they know that they've mastered a goal, and just the overall confidence in themselves, watching it grow is amazing. Well, on the other hand, the most challenging thing, having so many students in the school system and all working on their own individual needs, is finding the right time and a fun way to be able to address each and every one of their individual goals. If a speech therapist was just beginning her career, I would tell her to remember why she started, remember why she became a speech therapist in the first place. You can lose focus with all of the deadlines and everything imposed on you in the school system, but to just remember why you started. For me personally, to the kids, it was always the children.
Kimberly is a pre-K through 5 speech therapist at J. Wallace James Elementary. The love for what she does glows on her face and shows through our children, says one parent, who also states, "We were happy and sad the day our son graduated from speech therapy. Sad that we would no longer see Mrs. Kim, but happy that he was doing so well." Mrs. Kidder was instrumental in advocating to have this student tested for dyslexia when others refused, and went the extra mile to make sure his needs were met. Even after he was no longer in her program, she worked closely with his other teachers to keep him on track. This parent says, "It was heartwarming to have such a caring individual go out of her way to continue to help my child succeed." Another parent tells of her child who had such serious speech problems that they had no idea what she was saying when she spoke. Most conversations ended in frustrated tears on both sides. According to the parent, when Mrs. Kim came into our lives, everything changed. Our tears turned into smiles as we understood our child more and more each day. I will never forget the day 3 years ago when I got a call from school. It was Mrs. Kim wanting me to listen to a recording of our child saying, very clearly, "I love you." All I could do was cry. Our child is 7 now and has become one of the most confident, outgoing, silly little girls I know, thanks to Mrs. Kim. She has truly changed our lives. Kimberly Kidder.
And the next finalist is Shalita Manuel Jackson.
Actually my 7.5 year of teaching. Yes, I had a teacher. She was actually my catechism teacher when I was younger, and she was also an educator, elementary educator, and she just spent a lot of time with me growing up, pretty much until I was in high school, gave me the ropes of college, and we're still connected today. And I thank her so much because she was able to help me in ways in which my parents wasn't able, to help me or reach me in ways that they wasn't able to. The most rewarding thing about teaching is just being able to meet each learner where they are and see growth by the end of the year. The most challenging thing about teaching, I would have to say, is being able to separate the teaching life versus the family life. So a lot of times you take everything from work home and you tend to just forget there's a balance. You need to balance it out, and family is number one, and family is important. If I had to give any advice to a teacher, I would definitely say build a rapport with your students and their family, their parents, and so forth, because that makes a world of difference. Also, I would say classroom management, definitely have that. That's a world of difference in itself. If you have that down pat, everything else, goes well. And then always reward more than you reprimand. If you give constant rewards and you praise them, they'll do anything for you.
Shalitha Manuel Jackson teaches 4th grade reading at Lafayette Renaissance Charter Academy. It would be safe to say that Ms. Manuel Jackson is one of the most committed and passionate teachers who continuously goes above and beyond the call of duty. Like so many other teachers, her day begins very early and doesn't end until late in the evening. One parent nominator states, "She will not stop until every student has succeeded. She makes a difference for those children who do not have an advocate to speak for them or support them. She instills in them the confidence to believe in themselves where their circumstances may have prevented them from doing it on their own. She knows and understands how important her job is to those students and knows that she has been given this gift of teaching. She is willing to do whatever she needs to do to make sure the kids not only learn, but succeed. Her level of dedication and commitment to excellence has also been noticed beyond the walls of the school, as she has been accepted into a leadership academy where she will be a mentor for other teachers who want to promote excellence in teaching. She has been a wonderful blessing to my own daughter, to our family, and all those around her. Thank you, Ms. Manuel Jackson, for bringing out the excellence in all of us. Shalitha Manuel Jackson.
I don't know how you pick a winner, but there's one in this envelope. Falling in love with this teacher is not hard. In her mind, there is no struggle that lasts too long and no problem too hard to solve. She goes way beyond her normal responsibilities in trying to help her students. There is no end to her caring and concern. Changing lives is the name of the game for her, and she has changed the lives of so many during the course of her profession. She is an amazing educator through and through. Thank you for changing lives, Kimberly Kidder.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to try to be the speech therapist that doesn't stutter. Oh, wow. When I decided to leave the home health field and come into the school system, my biggest fear was that I wouldn't see the tremendous progress or make an impact like I could working one-on-one with my clients. Fast forward 9 years later, and I now know that's not the case. I've been very privileged to work at an awesome school at J. Wallace James with many students, and I've seen them progress leaps and bounds over the years. Winning this award is not only a huge honor, but it's also validation and feeling like maybe I am making an impact on their lives after all. Thank you to everyone at LEF, the board, all of its sponsors for making such an amazing night even possible for educators. This whole experience is so surreal. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Here to present the middle school awards are Linda Larkin-LeBove, consultant with Skylark Services, and Stephen Benitez, corporate sales trainer at Giles Automotive.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. Giles Automotive has been a proud sponsor of the LEF for years, and it's truly our favorite event. It's just so great that we get to support all the wonderful work that you guys do, and it's truly a blessing. So thank you so much for the work that you do, and congratulations on tonight. Thank you.
No matter the weather, it is wonderful to be here with so many people, with a community of people who are passionate about education, and to celebrate these exemplary teachers. Congratulations, finalists. You educate, you inspire, you touch the hearts of those who've been entrusted into your care. Thank you.
All right. Our middle school finalists in alphabetical order are Debbie Arsenault,
I have been teaching for light years. 23 years in Lafayette Parish. My music teachers were my greatest inspirational teachers through the way, and my fondest teacher and mentor is Kay Reese Richard, who I worked with and did her musicals, accompanied her choirs, and worked with her groups, and she is still one of my dearest friends and mentors today. For me, that's very easy. The most rewarding thing for me is that I get to work with the same students 3 and 4 years. So I get to watch them grow, I get to see them grow in their own personality, in their own maturity, but I get to see them flourish as musicians as well and develop a passion for music over a period of time. The most challenging thing is everything that we're asked to do other than teaching. I love teaching, I realize the other part's very important, but it takes away from my time with my students in my class. However, in this day and age, we all have to be flexible, so it's part of the everyday life. It just is hard to manage and get it all done.
So, if you were able to give a piece of advice to a teacher who is just beginning their career, what would you say?
Forrest, run! I would encourage them to persevere and to endure the race, because to give it their all, to not stop, to give everything they have 100% and not to become discouraged along the way, because it takes a while before you see the rewards of your hard work. But when you finally get to experience the rewards of your hard work, it is all worth it.
Debbie Arsenault is a 6th through 8th grade piano and choral teacher at Broussard Middle. One nominator defines a superb teacher as one who not only teaches you, but touches you with their lessons. He or she is one who will never give up on you and inspires, encourages, and prepares you for the world when school is no longer a part of your everyday life. This definition, she says, perfectly defines Mrs. Arsenault. Her desire to see her students succeed motivates her on her days off to open the piano lab for all the piano students who may need a little extra practice time or help from her. According to one source at Broussard Middle, she has totally revamped the chorus program and once again instilled a sense of pride in the students. Encouraging community service, her Christmas program was held at the local nursing home where her students sang and visited with the residents. Having a strong sense of compassion, she's willing to give her personal contact information in the event any student is in need in an emergency. Mrs. Arsenault was known to write a daily thought on the board. Says one student, one of those quotes is engraved into my memory. Quote, "A true friend is simply one who inspires you to become a better you," end quote. What a great honor to be one of her former students. Thank you, Miss Arsenault, for all you've done. Debbie Arsenault.
Tanya Chasson.
I've been teaching for 18 years. I've taught from pre-K students all the way through 12th grade. I did have an inspiration teacher. Her name is Sister Dolores Sanchez. She was my 5th and 6th grade teacher. I was blessed to have her twice at St. Pascal's in West Monroe. I love my students. I love seeing them have that aha moment when they're struggling. I love when that light bulb turns on. I also love seeing them grow as intellectual beings, struggling with those deep issues that happen in 7th and 8th grade, where life matters and everything is so deep. I love seeing them grow and mature and be silly and innocent and wonder about the world they're in. One of the most challenging aspects that I see would be their response to the social media. They are influenced like we weren't. I find that challenging them to rise above the apathy that they sometimes see on social media, to rise above the negativity that sometimes the culture celebrates or spotlights, is a challenge in the classroom. So we really try to focus on being positive and lifting each other up and just giving our best to become the creative and critical thinkers our society needs. To a new teacher, I would say, welcome to a rewarding and challenging profession. Soak in as much professional development as you can, whether it's going to conferences, webinars, reading publications. Talk to your mentors, consider their advice carefully, but trust your instincts. You're here for a reason.
Tanya Chasson teaches 7th grade reading and language arts at St. Pius School. One nominator offers a quote that he says sums up her teaching philosophy. Perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. Tanya pushes her students to a place that stretches them to expand their abilities. Another nominator relates her child struggles with reading and worried because Ms. Cheslow's class was hard. By the second day of school, my child was asking to be homeschooled. After a few weeks in her class, I noticed changes. He still wasn't happy, but worked harder than ever before. When offered help, he would say, "I know how to do it. She wants it done a certain way. I've got this." He was now doing his work because Ms. Chassaw taught him to value hard work, to be confident, trust in his ability, and believe in himself. My son has a passion for Ninja Turtles, and at a recent school book fair, had his heart set on Ninja Turtle pins and a poster. By the time we got there, all the pins and posters were gone, or so we thought. Ms. Chassaw, knowing of my son's passion, had come early and had saved a poster for him. His face lit up, and he looked at her the way he looks at me. I knew then that Ms. Chassaw was more than just a reading teacher. She did what parents dream of for their child. She made him feel like he was the most special student in her class. She saw a kid with potential and encouraged him to be everything that he could be, while at the same time getting to know him as a person and appreciating what makes him unique. Ms. Chassaw is a blessing to our family and truly one of a kind. Tanya Chassaw.
All right, our next nominee, Rowdy Huval.
This is my 28th year. Two of my high school coaches, I guess, influenced me a whole bunch. As an athlete in high school, they're the ones who kind of pushed me in that direction. Seeing the kids after they leave, how they mature, the successes that they have, meeting them in the community, and just having them tell me they have a family, they have children, what their jobs are, what they're doing. I guess the most challenging part is the changes in education that keep the changes in society, the changes in I don't know, the way the kids react. I think it's challenging to adjust, make those types of adjustments. Oh, advice Probably to have a sense of humor and to develop patience and, you know, to remember that it's a long distance race and not a sprint.
Rowdy Huval teaches physical education at Broussard Middle. As one nominator says, Coach Huval saved my sons. For one of them, it seemed that nothing was working to help with failing grades, lack of respect, unwillingness to do homework, and clowning around at school. At this point, this student's father suggested asking Coach Huval for help, thinking that perhaps the structure and discipline of a sport would help. The parent goes on to say, although Coach had already chosen his players, he agreed to work with our son as a fill-in, and that he would have to follow the structure of the team. After 2 weeks of training, our son was starting defense, respecting his teachers, doing homework, making friends, and now making A's, B's, and C's instead of F's. Nothing short of a miracle. Due to autism, the second son's story is not quite the same, as his needs were different. I watched my son try out for football, the mother says. Kids laughed at him as Coach taught him how to get in stance, catch, and even how to do jumping jacks. The whole time, Coach spoke in a soft tone, never losing his patience. This man sees through my son's autism and gave him a chance. Come to find out, Aaron's a pretty good safety. After Aaron made the team, the teasing stopped, and most of the team called Aaron their little brother and helped Coach work with him. This parent says, I wish more teachers had half the skills he has to reach children. Coach Huval's acceptance and patience saved our boys, and football is our life. In my family, Coach Huval is our hero, Rowdy Huval.
Michelle Lacodia.
Almost 13 years I have been teaching. I had quit school when I was younger, and when I volunteered at my children's school for gardening, I decided I liked working with younger children, and then I got into the teaching profession and went to middle school. My most rewarding thing about teaching is, first off, my children learning and having fun learning, not sleeping in class. My second thing about teaching is talking to my students. I love talking to them. They're my friends, and I enjoy a lot of the conversations I have. They teach me a lot. My children teach me a lot in school. The most challenging thing about teaching in our curriculum, we change it almost every couple of years, and that's a big challenge because as a teacher and as a parent, sometimes you know when a student's going to need extra help. So I think it's just trying to find the time to teach them the background that they may need to review with. A piece of advice I'd give them would be get a spouse or significant other that will understand that your profession, this profession, if you are to make a difference in students' lives, you need to put in more hours than just the school day.
Michelle Lacodia teaches 8th grade math at Judy's Middle School. According to her nominators, Miss Lacodia is also known as Lady Gaga, Miss Gaga, and Master Gaga. She is said to be non-judgmental, trustworthy, and a great friend. She brings out a passion for math and courage to succeed in life. One student nominator says, I found myself in a trance when she taught. It's like watching a rock star on stage. Another with learning difficulties says, I always had to use a calculator in math and had my test read aloud. Miss Lacodia worked with me after school and helped build my confidence. I no longer need a calculator and can do math without help. Another student says, I felt abandoned because my mother left me. It was hard for me to trust new adults. Miss Lacodia changed all of that. After turning to her for different things, I felt I finally found an adult in my life I could trust, my crazy math teacher. The gift of time is immeasurable, and that is one of the things that Miss Lacodia gave to me. I am an adult now and about to begin my career. I am blessed to have had her in my life. I hope the world continues to be blessed with her gifts of time, compassion, and understanding. Michelle Lacodia. And the award goes to this teacher's environment sets no boundaries for her efforts and works diligently to provide only the best for students. She sets forth the premise that everyone has the capacity to change and provides those elements to help make that change happen. This teacher is one that every student talks about in a positive way as new worlds open up for them. One student says, this teacher is a dreamer, and if you can dream, then you will get the Master Gaga. Michelle Lacodia.
Oh my God. I almost can't speak. Rah, 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 rah. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I'm almost speechless. There's a song Gaga sings like that too. I think I'm so blessed to have LEF as our an organization in our community. I always tell them my daughter, who's in New York, says that they don't have half as much support in that big old city that we do here in this community. So LEF is great, and the community, Lafayette, is the best community in the country. So we are an island upon ourselves. We support our classes and our teachers and our students. My husband, I would like to thank him for helping me to see where you could go with education, because he's from India, and I met him 25 years ago. And he helped a lot with, I dropped out of school, and he helped a lot with giving me the confidence to go back and become a teacher so that I could sing for y'all. And my mom, she's not here tonight. She had surgery, and she put up with this rowdy child that I was that dropped out of school, and I really want to thank her because was everything to me. She is everything. She just never gave up, even though I was pretty bad, and I guess my main thing here is to say to Hallie, Haley, Maddie, Naja, Victoria, Shay, Hope, Reagan, Ashley, I love you, monsters. Thank you very much.
Well, 2 excellent winners, 2 more to go. Now here to present the high school awards are Trace Robbins. Trace is the district manager with Capital One, along with Greg Gilbo, the senior manager of customer service for Entergy.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for myself and my colleagues from Entergy, Louisiana. One of the things that we at Entergy over time have decided is we want to really invest in the communities that we serve and live in the education area, and also we like to invest in the low-income areas. In my opinion, if you look at education, this is one of the best areas that you can ever invest in. The people that give their time, effort, and lives to help develop our future, our children, is such an admirable way to live your life. I travel in quite a bit of areas in southwest Louisiana, and even more so in Louisiana, and actually we serve a 4-state area. And this is the only area that I know of that honor their teachers the way that you do. It speaks a lot about the community. What you hold is important, and I'm honored. I live in this area, and I'm honored to be a part of the community. One of the things I can say is that we're able to participate, and we thank this organization for allowing us to do so. And we hope the part that our participation just allows us to take just the smallest amount of credit and participation. So thank you all for what you do.
Thanks, Greg. Wow, what an amazing event. Capital One is proud to be a sponsor of such a great celebration. On behalf of all of our branch associates here in Southwest Louisiana for Capital One, I just want to say congratulations to our nominees this evening, and thank you to all of our educators. You make such a profound, positive impact on all of our children.
All right, our first nominee, Jean Aguilar.
I've been teaching for 8 years now. The teacher that inspired me the most to become an educator would have to be Miss Cart, my former high school biology teacher. She was an amazing science teacher. She always made learning fun, and she came in with crazy new ideas every day, and it just inspired me to become a teacher. The most rewarding thing about being an educator is watching the students grow, seeing them, from day one to the end of the semester or the end of the school year, and see the young adults that they've blossomed into, or even when they return to visit after they've graduated and gone on to college or started their lives. The most challenging thing about being an educator is not being able to always have the freedom and creativity that I want to in my classroom, because we have to check every box, dot every I, cross every T with lesson plans and grading and Common Core curriculum, and just sometimes it's always hard to get all of those things done and still have the freedom and creativity that you want to have in your classroom. The one piece of advice that I could give a new educator or a person that's starting in this career is to remember that these are students that have problems just like you or I would have. That they are not just a name on a piece of paper or a number.
Jean Aguilar teaches high school science at Early College Academy. Ms. Aguilar has known many personal illnesses along with the loss of her son. Because of these adversities, her nominators say that she is able to understand and help others in positive ways, along with being an amazing teacher. One nominator became discouraged and was ready to give up her dream of being a registered nurse. Ms. Aguilar's teaching, positive attitude, and the joy that she has as a person made the nominator realize that she could succeed, and decided to follow through with her dream. Another nominator speaks of her as a great mentor and friend, saying that she uses her own experiences as stepping stones in life. She never takes life for granted, always shows love, kindness, and caring. One student says she has the mindset that she will do everything it takes for her class to do well. This student also speaks of the positive comments that Mrs. Aguilar wrote in his yearbook, thanking her for keeping her on her toes and that he was one of the best. He says, "That made my day. It made me think that maybe I was doing this school thing right and opened my eyes to see that positivity is a choice. No matter what you're going through, you can still be happy, smile, and give off positive vibes." Jean Aguilar.
Our next finalist is Sandra Laborde Broussard.
I'm in my 31st year of teaching. I had Miss Ann Carradine Tate as my theater teacher in high school who inspired me to have a love of theater, and also that she basically gave me confidence in myself as a person. When I student taught with Judy Hadley, I wasn't planning on really being a teacher. I was just going to student teach and go off and be an actress, but she saw something in me and said that this was what I needed to do. I think the most rewarding thing would have to be watching students transform from a very shy person, trying to make themselves invisible, to getting on stage at the end of the year and I can't get them to shut up. I don't absorb new things very well. So now with all this technology, it scares me. I'm not good at learning that part of it. And so that's the biggest challenge with all the changes, because I've done the same thing for so long. And I think that part of it would be the worst part for me. If you treat students with respect, they will respect you back. And not babying them necessarily, but speaking to them as young adults. They don't like to be spoken down to. And if you show that you care, as well as being the person in charge, they'll know their place and they're more likely to do what they need to do in class.
Sandra Laborde Broussard teaches theater and speech at Como High School. "I look forward to school," says a nominator, "because of my speech coach, Miss Broussard." Others expressed, "Being on her speech team is like being with an extended family. There isn't one student left out or who isn't filled with love and support each day. Winning and losing aren't as important as sharing that inseparable bond we have. She pushes us to strive for excellence and not be afraid. We learn the value of living in the moment and that one failure doesn't mean you won't succeed." One student says, "I find my whole demeanor has changed since I began taking her classes, going from introverted and quiet to outgoing, humorous, and genial." Another says, "She is a mother to 2 biological children and a surrogate mother to more children than I can count, giving her time, love, and wisdom to those in need. I know this from experience, as I came from a home filled with anger, resentment, and disappointment. My life took a much better path the day I met Sandra Broussard. When I became a teacher myself, I used her as my yardstick. Now I am becoming a mother and will strive to be one like the mother that was gifted to me, Miss Sandra Broussard. Simply put, she saved my life. She gave me her time and love and helped me to become the person I am today. She is my hero." Sandra Laborde Broussard.
Next we have Sarah Clavelli.
I have been teaching for 8 years. My mother and my aunt and my grandmother were all teachers. My sister's a teacher. My high school choir director, his name is Claude Westfall, back in St. Louis, Missouri, was definitely my inspiration to go into music. So I thought, if I could just reach one student the way he has reached me, that would be enough. The looks on their faces when they've accomplished something that they thought they could never do, all the days and hours of them complaining and whining and saying, why do we have to do this? Or how are we going to get this done? And then when they realize they've done it, oh, there is no greater reward at all. Making the kids realize they can do it. Getting them to see themselves as I see them. Focus on what you're teaching, know a lot about it, be passionate about everything you teach, and then focus on the individual. Look at each student in the eye, treat each student like they're different, like they make a difference. Because without that one student, everything would be different.
Sarah Clavelli is the choral director at Northside High School. Kind, caring, patient, supportive, and inspiring are just a few of the words used to describe Ms. Clavelli. One nominator says, she is not only a teacher, but also a mentor and someone always available if you are in need. She plays the role of a second mother to many. She gives advice and motivates us to accomplish our everyday challenges. Another student nominator quotes a Japanese proverb that says, better 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. He goes on to say, after so many times of wanting to give up, I found my way back and landed in the care of my music director, Sarah Clavelli. Mrs. Clavelli believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself and restored my self-confidence. She listened, challenged, and gave encouragement to stand up for my values. I thank her for trying to figure out every day how to manage the needs of so many children and for loving the ones who are hard to love because they make your days so difficult. I thank her for modeling patience, honesty, courage, perseverance, wisdom, responsibility, and generosity. Above and beyond those virtues is her relentless commitment to those of us who are under her care every day. She has devoted her life to inspiring us and giving all of us tools we need to succeed. Sarah Clavelli.
Simone McCrocklin.
I've been teaching, this is actually my 10th year teaching. The architecture firm I was working for went out of business and I was kind of lost on what I was going to do. One of my best friends said, go back and get your certification to teach. Marie really inspired me just because she was from Belgium and made her home here, and I figured, she can do it, I can do it. The most rewarding thing is when the little light bulb goes off and the students get it. I don't know how to play in this class. It's seeing the different types of kids working together and just blending as one. I think the most challenging thing is hearing about some of the home lives with these kids, how they live day to day, and that when school becomes the escape for them, it's hard for me not to want to take them all home. Piece of advice, pay attention to them and their actions and their personalities, because every student is different and they're going to react differently, and you never know who's going to walk through that door each day. personality-wise, but just know them and love them for who they are.
Simone McCrocklin teaches computer graphics and art at Como High School. Several nominators say the extent to which Mrs. McCrocklin, or Mrs. P, as she is affectionately known, goes to make sure every student is able to discover his or her full potential is both incredible and admirable. She encourages setting new goals every day so as to reach above and beyond original expectations. She provides opportunities which open the art world in a whole new way, encouraging the use of digital forms along with what is known as regular art, thus developing higher levels of creativity. Mrs. P also blessed the lives of her art students with a new elective known as Art Without Lines. This elective was no ordinary class, but more about including special needs students within the school community, thus making new friends while making beautiful art. There was one glitch. It had to be done during the free hour for both Mrs. P and students who chose to participate. A special needs teacher speaks of how his students have flourished and that walking into class warms your heart as you experience the true joy of acceptance and the feeling of belonging. Says one student, "I thought I was helping special students, but I was incredibly wrong. Instead of me helping them, they helped me." It is because of Mrs. P's willingness to offer this class that those of us who chose to participate had a life-changing experience and have been lathered in love by our very special fellow students. Simone McCrocklin. Okay. This teacher goes beyond having the standard teacher-student relationship. She takes her job one step further and builds meaningful bonds with her students. It is said that she is like a second mom, loving us in an environment that feels like a second home. Through sacrifice and love, she gives lessons that benefit many students and extend far beyond the classroom. She provides experiences that open students' eyes to the fact that no matter who you are on this earth, you are important and you can make a difference. Her students aspire to be like their passionate teacher one day. Simone McCrocklin.
It's funny how many people have said, bless your heart, whenever I tell them I teach high school. And I guess it all came together because I do feel blessed in my classroom, in my home, and in my life. Thank you, LEF, for this. It's an amazing opportunity to be here, and I appreciate how much you appreciate teachers. Love my school, been there since I started teaching. Go Como, yay Como. And I have, wonderful family, happy birthday Dad. The most patient husband in the world for his crazy art teacher wife, and a beautiful daughter, and I couldn't be happier and more proud tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Becky Dejean, As Executive Director of LEF, I am pleased to announce that the Board of Directors has unanimously voted to dedicate tonight's inspirational category in memory of Shirley Fisher. Shirley Fisher, an innovator in early childhood education, embraced teaching as her true calling. She authored a preschool curriculum still used and built upon today. She influenced hundreds of young minds, and she dedicated her life to the advancement of children. Shirley Fisher taught, encouraged, and motivated students from the moment she began her illustrious and storied career in 1946. She taught passionately with a great inner knowledge, a rare gift, with her husband and family of 7 children standing nearby to assist. To this day, 3 of her children are actively involved in schools founded by their mother. In the words of one of her daughters, "Our mother created the path, we're just following in her footsteps." Her boundless energy was legendary, and her deep empathy for children with special needs cannot be overlooked. She so obviously loved what she was called to do, to give every child the opportunity to learn. Her door was forever open. Parents of young students often visited Shirley after hours in her home, seeking answers, hope, and reassurance. They did not leave disappointed. Close family and friends know that it was commonplace for Shirley to pray about a particular issue, about a specific student, asking God to guide her and help her make a difference in the life of that child. And all the while, she never sought attention. To Shirley Fisher, this life she chose of tireless dedication to her students rightly reflected who she was. LEF recognized the impact Shirley Fisher had in this community when she was named top finalist in 2000 in the inspirational category. Many of her family members joined in the celebration that evening, just as many are here with us tonight. We thank you for your presence. Shirley Fisher's life inspired many a child, parent, and teacher. We are honored to designate tonight's inspirational category as a tribute to her. So, with that said, here to present the Inspirational Awards are Carmen Blanco, Public and Government Affairs Manager with Cox, and Gail Romero, broker owner for Van Eaton and Romero.
Good evening. I first want to say congratulations to the Fisher family. I know you have to be so proud of your mother's legacy. I join you in that pride. I'm also very, very honored and humbled to be here with so many remarkable educators. Congratulations to our finalists, because each of you has definitely earned your place on this stage. You received the call, and you answered yes to make a difference in the lives of so many young people. I'm also very excited and proud to be here representing Cox. We love teachers at Cox because our founder was a teacher, and it's in his legacy that we participate and support education and LEF. This is our 10th year as a partner with LEF, and it's definitely one of the great highlights of my year every year. So congratulations to Becky and all of you with LEF for doing such a remarkable job honoring the unsung heroes in our community.
Thank you. I am truly awed and inspired by what I've seen earlier. My little speech just went out the window. What a debt and a gratitude that we owe all of you teachers and you educators. Our future is in your hands. What can I say? I know why Van Eaton and Romero has sponsored the patrol for LEF for so many years. You've built our children up to where they can be leaders in our community. We thank you. We thank you, LEF. We thank you, teachers. We thank you for everything you do. I don't know what more I can say, but thank you, thank you, thank you.
Our inspirational finalists in alphabetical order are Amanda Newberry.
This is my 22nd year. My mother had always said to me, if you're going to be an actor, you're also going to get your teaching certificate. So that was one inspiration I had growing up from her. But when I moved to New Orleans, I met somebody called Kathy Dejan, who was a dance teacher at LUS School. And she was the one who really inspired me to get into education. The children, their ideas. You know, I'd thought about going into administration, but I love teaching too much. It doesn't matter what mood, what you know, how I'm feeling. Once I come into class and I'm working with them, everything changes. It's their joy, they really are. It's a lot of fun. I'm itinerant. I teach this year grades 1 through 12. So it's all the different lessons that I plan. And I'm going from school to school. I have 6 schools that I go to. And so that, you know, I'm always running around. Make sure you like children. Make sure that you realize that they are little human beings and that you have a relationship with each and every one of them.
Amanda Newberry is the lead teacher for the Talented Arts Program K-12 in Lafayette Parish. One nominator states, "It was through her work in New Orleans that she became aware of legislation found only in Louisiana that identified students talented in the arts independent of the gifted program. Regardless of academic or socioeconomic background, students demonstrating talent in theater, music, or visual arts could be offered private lessons during school hours at no cost to the family. As evacuees from Hurricane Katrina, she and another teacher took a negative situation and applied their own artistic and extensive teaching experience to Lafayette, thus creating the Talented Arts Program. The faculty grew from 7 to 22 members, and student growth exploded from less than 100 to an astonishing 750. Another nominator says, Amanda has been instrumental in creating a collaborative showcase for all art disciplines, bringing about the annual Arts Festival, which is parallel to none in Lafayette Parish. Some say it's the best kept secret in Lafayette. Beyond these points, parents share that most importantly, the confidence received from the program directly impacts grades, integrity in interaction, and discernment of the value of friendship. It empowers students to believe in themselves and their abilities. Mrs. Newberry has never treated our daughter as though she had a handicap, stated one parent, whose daughter was born without a left hand. She has been instrumental in our child's growth on the stage and off. I present Amanda Newberry.
The next nominee is Tiffany Roban.
This is my 5th year here at LCA. It's the energizing environment, along with my sister who teaches, and my mom always taught Bible school, and they inspired me. The love of children. The most rewarding thing is to see their smiles each day, to see them learn new and exciting things, to be their first teacher here at LCA. It's amazing. The most challenging thing is to make sure each one gets their educational need, to make sure that each one learns and are on the same level. It would be to first see God, to have an open heart, and just let them be them, let their creativity show, and they're confident.
Tiffany Roban teaches pre-K4 at Lafayette Christian Academy. Mrs. Roban in the year 2014 will not soon be forgotten by one family at Lafayette Christian Academy. Part of this turning point year includes a very special teacher, says the parent nominator. Mrs. Roban has etched a lasting impression in the heart of our 5-year-old son, and mine as well. It was in March that my son was diagnosed with leukemia. Mrs. Roban came to visit, flashing the same sweet smile that had greeted Luke Ryan each day at school. She continued to encourage him and our family through very difficult months. She provided meals and encouragement on top of educational materials needed for the remainder of the year. In addition to all of this, she housed Luke Ryan, a toy monkey, who occupied Luke Ryan, the boy's desk, and went on field trips, always serving as a reminder that he was still part of the class. For each event that our son was not at school, she made sure he received the award, the project, the treats, and many more things. She was always an advocate for him going above and beyond the call. He was continuously covered with prayer and support. Mrs. Roban had taught us by example to persevere, shine in the face of adversity, and most of all, to place our trust in God. Thank you, Mrs. Tiffany.
Our third nominee is Melissa Wallace.
I've been teaching 28 years in 3 different states. I didn't have a specific teacher that inspired me to become a teacher, but when I was 7, I just knew that I wanted to help people. I was adopted as a kid, and I wanted to kind of give back to society, and so I just knew that I wanted to help people, and then I was pre-med for a little while, and then came upon education and decided that's what I wanted to do. The most rewarding thing about teaching is when you see the smile on a child's face as they have the aha moment and they've learned something new, or they finally get something that they've been struggling with. The most challenging thing about teaching is time management, trying to manage all of the things that we're required to do and keep a smile on our face and try to keep a positive attitude. My piece of advice to a new teacher is to look at each challenge as a challenge and not as a problem that is too hard to fix.
Melissa Wallace teaches kindergarten at Prairie Elementary. Dedicated, caring, inspiring, positive, and patient are just a few of the attributes describing Mrs. Wallace. One parent contributes, Mrs. Wallace not only taught my child the most basic life functions, but has helped her reach for the skies. She has left a lasting impression and changed our lives forever. Another nominator says, there is a quote that says, the best type of therapy for autism is love, unconditional love. Mrs. Wallace exhibits that therapy, not only for her special needs students like our granddaughter, but to all students at Prairie. With an open heart, she introduces and molds their first impression of school into a positive experience. Our list of little miracles that Mrs. Wallace has helped bring about is long, but here are just a few. Drinking from a water fountain, riding a school bus, accepting a ring pop as a reward, sitting in a chair in the cafeteria, establishing eye contact, and socializing with classmates. She has shared little tricks that help us teach our granddaughter. She recognized Lydia's love for water and on her own time taught her pool safety and how to stay afloat. There is so much more we could add, but we just want to say, Mrs. Wallace, thank you for showing us that sometimes all you need is love. You certainly have earned your ring pop.
The next nominee is Melissa Welch.
I've been an interpreter here at Lafayette High. This is my 20th year. The reason I'm here is because of my son, Trey Landry. He is deaf. He was diagnosed as deaf at 1. And so at 9, when I could no longer help him with homework, I decided I need to do something, step up my skills, and because another mother dragged me in, she pulled me here to start subbing, and after I started subbing, I became full-time, and I've been here ever since. The most rewarding thing is when the light bulb goes off, when the student understands not only what I've translated, but what the teacher's teaching. I know I'm doing my job, and I know I've been a success. The most challenging thing is making that happen. The most challenging thing is making sure that I have relayed exactly what the teacher said. For our position, I think the most important thing is immersion. You need to hang out with the deaf. You need to be active in the deaf community. You really need to immerse yourself in their culture so that you can understand them when you come to interpret for them.
Melissa Welch is the lead sign language interpreter at Lafayette High School. She and her co-workers act as a bridge between two worlds, interpreting for students who are hearing impaired or completely deaf. A nominator says, Melissa became involved with the deaf world and a deaf rights advocate when her son was diagnosed as being deaf. She mastered sign language, and when her son entered school, she became an interpreter. She and her co-workers take whatever teachers, coaches, and administrators say and interpret it into sign. The nominator, also being an educator, can attest to how difficult it is to teach one subject, much less through sign, than all other academic areas too. He states, she must be prepared to interpret every day and at a different time during the day. Without this program at Lafayette High, there would be no deaf education in our public schools. It also services students from other parishes and has been recognized as the template for other parishes and states. Her job doesn't end with the school day, however, as signing is also done for all extracurricular activities, including clubs and sports, and for deaf parents attending a conference or an open house. Melissa has become such an integral part of her babies, as she calls her students, that many continue to count on her even after graduation to interpret weddings, births, and even funerals. Thank you, Mrs. Welch, for your dedication to your students and the entire deaf community.
Would Dr. Fisher come up here to announce the winner of the inspirational category, please?
Can I introduce him now? Do I want me to introduce him now?
Thank you very much. The job of teaching never ends in the classroom, as most of us know. And oftentimes, the teacher becomes an integral part of the family life, which is the case for this teacher. Through dedication, love, and patience and advocacy, this teacher helps to educate all students to their fullest capacities. She is often referred to as a mentor to address particular issues. Changing people's lives is an awesome responsibility, and this teacher does that by serving as a bridge between two worlds, the hearing and the deaf. Top winner for Inspirational is Mrs. Melissa Welch.
They told me to prepare a speech. It's not about me tonight. Tonight's about the Hearing Impaired program. The whole point of this was to promote it. That was the whole point of being here. Interpreter's not supposed to cry. I just want to thank everybody who's been such a big part of this. My mentors, my coworkers, my family, my son who brought me into this. Never would have thought. My husband and just everyone, I just thank you. Thanks.
From here.
As I said, I'm David Fisher, but before I leave here, I would just like to congratulate the Lafayette Education Association on the great job they're doing. From day one, they're focusing attention on top-notch teachers, and in doing so, they're causing our community to be involved and to pay attention to what's happening on the educational level. And I appreciate being involved in this to this extent tonight, and I know that my family and everybody here enjoys what this program gets better every year, and what they do for the community gets better every year, and I think that is a great function of this organization.
So who has the tissues? What you didn't see behind the scenes was that there was an interpreter who was signing for Melissa's son, and she didn't know that Melissa was the winner. So she's signing to Melissa's son, and she hears it, and she gets startled, and she starts crying. So she's wiping her eyes, and she's signing, and she's wiping, and she did a beautiful job. As I watched this, I thought, I talk with my hands, but that's just unbelievable. So, job well done. Scott, that was amazing.
Those of you who purchased the director's cut of this DVD will see all the behind-the-scenes stuff. A lot of congratulations, but first, let's start with some thank yous. Please join me in thanking this evening's junior ROTC student ushers. They're from Como High School and Como High School. But wait, there's more. If you order now, we'd also like to say thank you to the Lafayette Concert Band's trumpeteers for providing the fanfare when we announced the arrivals of the finalists. More thank yous are elegant stage ushers, Hunter Beasley, Bruce Conk. Great job there, guys. And if you have one more in you, a round of applause for our stage assistant, Kelly Corville, the marketing director over at Goodwill. Oh, wait, I lied. We'd also like to further thank Judy Morgan. She did wonderful work on tonight's slideshow, and the legendary Danny Izzo of Nuvo Photo for providing the great video interviews.
And of course, an event of this kind and caliber requires tremendous planning and leadership. At this time, we would like to invite Clay Henry, the LEF board president, and Becky Dejean, executive director, to the podium for just a few remarks.
Let me go first.
Thank you. On behalf of the nearly 5,000 employee owners at Acadian Companies, congratulations to all of the finalists and educators who were nominated. Acadian was one of the original supporters of LEF when it was founded back in 1989, and we continue to treasure that relationship and look forward to supporting LEF and the educators for many years to come. What an incredible night. How lucky are we to be in the company of so many heroes, which we heard mentioned several times tonight. I really believe that educators are the real heroes in our society, and here's just a couple reasons why. We all know that their day begins long before the school bell rings, when most students are still asleep, and it continues long after the kids go home. Teachers are multitasking powerhouses, grading papers while watching American Idol, while also cooking dinner. They're always on their feet, and they live and work in front of the toughest audience in the world. And their resolve to teach is greater than the students' resolve to goof off. At least, fortunately, at least my teachers were. They sometimes have to wait years to see the fruits of their labor also. But here's the kicker. Real teachers have the keen ability to hear the heartbeats of crisis. They always have time to listen. They know when a student is in trouble. They know they teach students and not subjects. Teachers understand that their kids are non-expendable. Let's face it, most teachers are selfless. Their act of unselfish devotion to their students is what makes each of them a hero. You could say that the future of our community, or even in our country, is not only in the parents' hands, but in the teachers as well. And from what I've seen tonight, I say, why not? What better place to be than in the caring hands of a teacher? I want to thank our incredible staff at LEF, our director, Becky Dejean, assistant Donna Smith, Board Member and Teacher Awards Chairperson Chad Romero, and a very special thank you to our Programs Director, Atiana Wright, who administers all of our programs at LEF, not to mention her unbelievable work with organizing this event tonight. Atiana, please come out and be recognized. Almost. I want to give the most sincere thank you to all of our sponsors and corporate partners. Without you, we could not do the great work that we do. Each of you are true ambassadors for excellence in education. In closing, to the teachers out there right now, remember tonight, remember the feeling and the spirit in which we all came together to celebrate each of you. You are so worthy of appreciation and honor, and I thank you very much.
I should have gone before Clay, because Clay, that was tough to beat. But first of all, I would really like to thank our sponsors again. Clay, you being one with Acadian companies as well. If you read in your program, you will see so many businesses that have supported our endeavors as we have tonight. And not only do we appreciate the cash donations, which we need, but also all the in-kind that we get to make this possible. To everyone who took the time and the heart to write a nomination letter, thank you. To the 16 finalists, you are all winners. When we read the nomination letters over and over again in writing the script, and thank you, Monique Burden, for assisting, we see that you are all winners. It's hard to actually put into one page in 1 minute as to the power of the words that we have read. So thank you and congratulations tonight, and to all the educators. As you've experienced hearing these stories tonight, you just never know the difference you'll make in a child. Thank you all for attending, and good night.
Did they know about the station? Did they know about the station?
Well, a couple programming notes before we say our final congratulations. One, the weather is bad out there, in case you're just tuning in. We'd like you all to be careful, make it home in time to watch your favorite newscast when you get back. Also, being the father of a high school freshman, I got this text from Bruce Baudier over at Turling's. Make sure it's tomorrow. Bruce has declared it Sweats Day. So if you are a student at Turling's, you can certainly wear your sweats to school. I just wanted to pass on, you guys matter. And you heard Tracy talk about her teachers, and I talk about my mom up here every time. I saw my mom grade English papers for hours and hours, and evenings and weekends. I see her in that orange chair in our house in Carencro grading papers forever. And she never asked for anything. And then I got the reaction when I was going to Turling's, I'd run into the Lafayette High guys, and they would go, "Your old lady Brazda's son? She grades our papers, it's a bloodletting." And then a year later at USL, the same guys who are in my fraternity say, "Your mom makes college a breeze." That was the ultimate pay for my mom. So all of you guys, congratulations. Now, this evening we have reminisced about special educators who have made a difference in our lives. We do invite all of you to attend LAF's signature fundraiser, again, the big reprom, April 18th. Join as we reminisce about our younger days, tell some better lies than we did back in the old days, I'm sure. Help us re-elect the new reprom king and queen, all the while as we support LAF's mission, which is excellence in education, which is what you guys do. So be sure to get your tickets early. Last year was a sellout, so do your best.
Any excuse to have a party. And education's a great excuse. This concludes our awards ceremony for tonight. Thank you all for joining us this evening to honor these educators as we celebrate the 17th anniversary of LEF's Teacher Awards. I can't imagine a better reason to celebrate. We remind our finalists to join us on stage for a group picture, please, before joining our guests in the Frembustani Ballroom for a reception. Everyone, please be safe, buckle your seatbelts, and have a great evening.
The preceding program was made possible in part with production assistance provided by AOC Community Media.